Hugh Williams, a mechanic, is sent to the lunar research facility called the Cradle to investigate why all communication with Earth is lost and to restore connection as soon as possible. Upon arrival, a massive moonquake hits the facility, separating him from his crew, leaving him alone to navigate a hostile environment and a rogue AI known as Edis. Hugh Williams will now have to escape with his life, and to do it, he will need the help of an unlikely friend. I have played 100% of PRAGMATA. That means every single Steam achievement, including the infamous Lunatic mode. So sit back, relax, and watch how a cute little AI will now be responsible for the next generation of what newborn babies will be called.
You patched me up.
Hello, this is Edis, your autonomous base administrator. Unregistered guest identified. Walker, please remove him from the premises.
Now time to witness the ultimate father and daughter relationship. Diana will hack the enemy, exposing its many weaknesses. You will take out a vast array of weapons and wipe the enemy out. New mission is quite simple. Survive, get off the cradle, and go back to Earth.
What the hell happened here?
Look at this. The tram line leading to the solar power plant is still running. If we get the main power back up, we can ride the rail all the way to the tower.
Yeah, we'll go, and if you don't get hurt, that means it's safe. Let's go!
Sounds like a plan.
We can restore power to the lunar base, we can make contact with Earth, so we should be able to get our way off of the cradle. But Edis, the rogue AI, is not going to make life that simple for us. So for now, we are inside the solar power plant, and we're just going to make our way through this area. Now, there are a couple of levels we get to explore in this game. The solar power plant is by far the smallest area of them all. You could think of this as a little bit of a tutorial zone. All of these zones that we get to explore are located in a huge area called the Cradle, and the Cradle is located on the moon. It is basically an advanced lunar mining and research facility operated by the Delphi Corporation that acts as both the setting and the primary mechanism for creating tools and environments. It prints them using a material that can only get on the moon called Luna filament. Now, we will also be using Luna filament to upgrade our own character's gear and weapons. We will also use it to upgrade a lot of the abilities we can get for Diana as well. This game is a combination of platforming and shooting. It's quite fun to play. It's not the hardest game in the world, especially when you play it on casual difficulty. The game starts off quite basic in terms of the weapons you have access to, the abilities Diana has access to, but as you go through the levels, you will soon come to realise that the game can go quite deep in terms of what setup you want to use. And a lot of those setups can dominate a lot of the enemies the game will throw at you. We just got our first side unit now. This is the shockwave gun. It is basically a shotgun. You can get right up close and personal with this, and it will destroy most things within a couple of shots. This is known as the Crusher. It is a lot more tankier and it hits a little bit harder than the regular walkers we've been fighting so far. Now, it will occasionally stomp the ground. On Lunatic mode, they do get more abilities like almost every other enemy you will encounter, and they do get a lot more health. The best way to deal with those is to just jump every time it stomps. Even on Lunatic mode, you can jump all of the stomp moves. You won't get a single bit of damage. Luna filament isn't the only resource that we're going to get. We're also getting upgrade components. Components can be used to increase 3 specific areas. Our primary unit, which is the grip gun for now, increasing his damage and whatnot. Diana's hacking ability, but it can also be used to upgrade our suit, increasing our HP and defense. It's not super important for casual mode, but when you play on Lunatic mode, trust me, you're going to be pumping upgraded components into that suit much earlier than what you would do in other modes. Hacking Matrix will change every time you fight a different enemy. It's different for all the enemies, and each enemy has a few different variations of the Hacking Matrix. That matrix will get a lot more detailed as the game progresses. Once we unlock more hacking nodes and whatnot, it gets a lot more fun as well. We'll also notice areas we can't get to right now because we don't have the abilities to get in there. So there's a lot of replayability in this game. You will be going back to zones occasionally to collect things.
Water everywhere.
Kinda hard to appreciate when it's just the half. Listen, we get back to the shelter, I'll whip you up a new one.
Really? I want to see.
Red Earth memories or REMs are collectibles we can get on every single map. We can also find these items known as mini cabins. There's 3 of these on every single map as well, and if you want to 100% the game, you will need all of them. Occasionally, when you open up chests like this, you will get mods or you will get an item called pure Lunum. These items are used to upgrade weapons and other abilities.
This will make it easier to hit things harder.
That's right, Diana. We just picked up one of many hacking nodes that will now be added to the hacking matrix. It's called Decode, and every time we go through a hacking matrix with an enemy, if we activate Decode, enemies will take a lot more damage from our weapons for a small duration of time. There are secret rooms located all over the cradle, all of that can be found through holographic walls. Inside this room, we just found a REM called the Crayon. We also shot another mini cabin just outside that holographic room as well. We're now entering the final area before we fight the big bad boss of this zone.
Energy levels at 30%, 40%, 50%.
Warning. Unauthorized access detected. Severing primary connection. Targets identified. Neutralizing threats.
The first big boss of the game, this one is known as the Sector Guard. Now it does look quite big and intimidating. Even on Lunatic mode, it's not that hard. What you have to watch out for are its dash abilities, just like that. It also fires out missiles, but they're quite well telegraphed, and you can normally see these big red circles on the ground. You just have to stay out of the circles. So when you hack this boss, you can go right around it where its core is exposed, and you can hit it for some pretty good critical damage. It's just more or less rinse and repeat until the thing is defeated. Every single enemy in this game has a stagger gauge. When that gauge goes to 100%, you can perform a special move just like this, doing huge amounts of damage. Most of the boss fights have 2 or 3 phases, so this is just going into the second phase now where the boss fires out loads of rockets. More importantly, we unlock a new ability for Diana called the Overdrive Protocol. It basically stuns enemies for a fairly large duration of time, and the protocol can be upgraded to stun for even longer. To get the Overdrive Protocol, you just have to do lots of successful hacks. Every time you successfully hack an enemy, the Overdrive gauge increases by a small bit.
Yeah, baby. We did it! This is how we say, good job.
Careful.
Hello, we are Cabin, your one-stop companion for all things shelter.
Permissions confirmed for shelter level 1.
Shelter level upgraded. Central terminals now loaded with shiny new stuff.
Every time you beat a boss at the end of a level, you get a shelter license key. You can use that to upgrade the shelter, and every time the shelter gets upgraded, you can further enhance your gear and abilities. All of the REMs you find on a level as well, you can give them to Diana, makes her really happy, and it unlocks lots of really cute cutscenes as well. But more importantly, she will give you a cabin coin every time you give her a Red Earth memory. As you progress through the game, the mini cabins there will throw these stamp boards at you, and you can complete the stamp boards by using cabin coins. And the more stamps you complete, the more prizes you get, and you can get some real cool prizes from those. We're also using the upgraded components as well to increase Diana's hacking level, as well as increasing the damage that her primary unit can do. We can also spend some Luna filament and we can unlock weapons that we've picked up throughout the levels, meaning we can go into the next level with those weapons equipped. So we're going to fully max out the shockwave gun for now. As we increase the shelter level, we can increase that further. We also picked up the status net, which is great for locking enemies into place for a duration of time. And we also have access to one mod which increases our HP by 10%. Can upgrade the mod ability over time to allow us to equip more mods before we go into a zone.
What are you doing? Are you trying to hurt yourself?
If I break, you can just fix me back up.
That's not the point. You have to be more careful. If something happened to you, I'd be in real trouble.
In real trouble? Why?
I mean, well, you best think on that yourself.
Okay, I will.
Whoa.
Wow!
Would you look at that?
Our new mission is quite simple. We need to reach the comms tower so we can contact Earth. This is the second level of PRAGMATA, the mass production array. This zone is quite big. It's got 6 locations, each one built up to the top with secrets and collectibles. Gonna have lots of new enemy types we get to fight, lots of new weapons we get to try out, and it's even gonna give us a nice ability that will allow us to go back to previous maps and further explore them.
It almost had us!
Yeah, nice moves, kid.
A new tactical unit called the Riot Blaster. Similar to the status net, this weapon doesn't immobilize, it just knocks enemies back. It can be very handy if you're swarmed with enemies and you just want to knock them down for a few seconds to give yourself a breather. It can be upgraded to increase its damage, blast radius, as well as ammo capacity. As we explore the world of PRAGMATA, we're going to find red gate keys. We can get these from the stamp boards as well that the mini cabins will give us. These keys will give us access to rooms known as red rooms, and there's a handful of red rooms in the game. Rooms are a little bit harder than normal encounters, but the rewards are always worth the time. And if you want to 100% the game, you have to go in and you have to do all of the red rooms. Now on casual mode, the rooms are an absolute pushover. Yes, sometimes you can get swarmed with enemies, but at the end of the day, it's casual. Enemies don't have a whole lot of HP, they don't hit you for that much damage. If you have a tactical unit such as a Riot Blaster, a status net, something like that, you're not going to have too much trouble. Now I came in here unprepared and I still did it no problem at all. You can leave these rooms until the very end of the game if you want to. If you're really struggling, you can come back with better equipment. Even on casual mode, I will admit I did die on my very first red room attempt because I wasn't prepared for the vast amount of enemies that would attack me, and I wasn't prepared for the very small space I had to maneuver. But it's a great way to kind of force yourself to upskill. It's a great way to say, okay, I need to use the tactical units if I want to survive. So after completing the wave of enemies, we get a pure Lunum there. That's going to come in very handy for certain ability upgrades or weapon upgrades. We also unlocked a new hacking node. This one is called multi-hack. So if you hack one enemy, other enemies close to it will also get hacked as well. It's a great way to clear out enemies very quickly, especially if you're swarmed with huge amounts of enemies. As you progress through the game, you will get more and more encounters where there's going to be 5 or 6 enemies bearing down on you. So having nodes like that is an absolute game changer. If we want to get to the comms tower, we have to deactivate 6 security terminals. This is just one of many. So once all 6 terminals are done, we can then take on the boss of the zone, get up into the comms tower and hopefully get back to Earth. The time you reach the end of the game, you're going to have huge amounts of mods and you will spend huge amounts of time looking at all of the mods and looking to see what kind of a build you can come up with. We just picked up a mod here called Close Quarters. If we are within 10 meters of an enemy, we will get a 10% increase in attack power. And the great thing about these mods is that they can be stacked with other mods and weapon abilities. Eventually we will get mods where the last round of a weapon will do 50% more damage, which is absolutely huge. If we fire while in the air, we do 15% more damage. So you start stacking up all these mods and you're going to end up outputting some serious damage. We also picked up a weapon here called the Charge Piercer. Now this weapon and the Shockwave gun are 2 weapons I take straight up into Lunatic mode. and beyond. They are weapons that will see you through almost every single piece of content this game has to offer. These weapons are extremely good, and as you level them up, as they gain more and more abilities, you'll see for yourself firsthand just how powerful they can become. If you were to skip out of the collectibles and literally just run through the main story of this game, you'd probably have it done in a very small handful of hours. But because we're going for 100%, we have to search every nook and cranny this game has to offer. Now, we do eventually pick up abilities where Diana can scan for objects. It's not something we have right now, so we end up missing out on huge amounts of stuff. But not to worry, we will be going back, revisiting all these zones, using the scan ability, and before we know it, we'll have all of the collectibles that we can get.
Hey, let me see.
Diana, don't.
It's okay, Hugh. That device was made for Diana, so she can learn new abilities. At least it's not part of a worm that one of the birds left over, because your neighbour keeps filling up her garden with bits of bread and bits of food. So you have about 50 birds swarming your backyard, pooping all over your fence, pooping all over your trampoline, pooping all over your car that you have to clean every 2 days. And sometimes they'll get stuck in your chimney. They'll fall down the fireplace. And you have to pray to God that when you open your fireplace, they leave in peace, not have a panic attack, fly all over your kitchen, and destroy the place in poop. Because guess what, people? Birds poop a lot. Neighbourly rant over, back to the game. So Diana just picked up an ability there, where she can now erase that dead filament that we've saw in a handful of locations. We can now go back to the very first map if we want, re-explore it, and any dead filament we see, we can get rid of it and explore new zones, get more collectibles. Now, every time before we do a big boss encounter, or before we can do the second part of a map, we'll go back to the shelter, because there's lots of exit points that you can unlock as you progress through the game, and we're going to start upgrading all of our parameters. Diana's hacking is always prioritized, because that is the bread and butter of the tactics that I use to wipe out enemies very quickly. With the rest of the Luna filament I have, we're going to max out the charge piercer for now. We're also going to grab some extra mod slots so we can equip more mods to our character, dramatically increasing our damage. We're also going to spend 400 Luna filament, and we're going to get the overdrive leveled up along with the hacking gauge leveled up as well. We're also going to get some additional node slots as well, so more nodes appear in the hacking matrix. We're going to put some points into our thrusters, and we're also going to get the critical shot ability. This means when enemies' health gets low, a critical shot node will appear in the hacking matrix, allowing you to perform a critical attack, similar to the attack you see when enemies get staggered. It's a really good finisher. So this is the stamp board I was talking about, and we can use the cabin coins to unlock all of the slots in the stamp board. There are a total of 4 or 5 stamp boards you can complete in this game. Each one gets bigger than the last, so accumulating cabin coins early on will give us some significant advantages. We just got the freeze node there, and that's very handy. Also going to give Diana all of the rems we collected to get even more cabin coins and some cute scenes.
We did it! Look, we've collected the entire series! You must spend every day on Earth in fun places like this. Hey, can I give you something? Q? Thanks for talking to me all the time. Ta-da!
Is this supposed to be when we first boarded the tram?
Uh-huh. I drew it. It's for you.
Look at that. You wrote your name, too. Not half bad, kiddo.
Have now reached the end of the mass production array level. We're going to take on a boss here called the Creator. Now, the Creator is quite big, but also quite slow. On casual mode anyway. It also has a lot of HP. Now, we do have a couple of nodes we can use to our advantage. Because we completed the stamp board, we got the freeze node. And that will actually freeze up the enemy for a handful of seconds, allowing us to charge up our big charge piercer weapon and deliver some decent hits. Now, if we run out of ammo with the charge piercer, not to worry, there's weapons scattered all over the arena. The boss will occasionally fire lasers at us and conjure items that will come up through the ground. If they hit us, they will deal damage. Now because it's casual mode, it's not the end of the world if we get hit by a lot of the boss's abilities. The most devastating thing the boss can do on casual mode is to put up a shield, disallowing you from using the hacking matrix. To bring that shield down, you just have to fire at the big red barriers that appear all over the boss. Up to 4 barriers can appear. Eventually, when the boss's health gets low, it will do this huge area of effect attack. It's very easy to dodge. You just have to run to the back of the arena and you'll be totally safe.
I got him! There's still one on his back!
You got this?
Maybe! Accessing local control matrix. Initiate!
You alright?
I fell down again.
Hey! Don't sweat it. Teammates look out for each other. And we're a team, right? Man, need us again. I can't do anything. Or can I? Let's see. How about here? The pterodome? I got these other stops as well. There's gotta be something there we can use.
Who are you?
It's me, 8.
8.
I borrowed this little one to contact you. It's good we found each other. Please, there's no time.
It's like she knew you. You two met?
I don't know, but she needs us. Q, please!
Well, there's something going down. Let's go find out what.
Great!
We now have access to the simulation room. Every time we go through a level, we're going to pick up simulation data. There's a total of 30 simulation levels. Now, you don't have to get perfect scores in each one to grab the Steam achievement or the trophy, whatever device you're playing it on. You only need to clear the level's primary goal. And if you just focus on the primary goals, it's not too difficult to get through each stage. Now, we will be going for perfection on each level to get the most out of the prizes. Every time you get perfection, you get up to 3 prizes. Normally, you get a combination of Luna filament, pure Lunum, you can even get cabin coins and upgrade components. So they're well worth doing, well worth your time. Also, if you want to unlock the secret ending, you have to complete all of these simulated missions. Now I have a much larger stamp card we can work with, but this isn't the last one. There's a handful more stamp cards we get to fill out. It is absolutely worth your time filling them out though, because of the resources you can get from them, and of course, the outfits if you want to dress up Hugh or Diana. We do have quite a bit of Luna filament, so we are going to try to max out the mod slots. We're going to increase the hacking gauge. I was going to get the overdrive, but we can always bounce back and get that later on. With the upgrade components, we're going to increase the damage of our primary unit a little bit. It packs more punch.
Not bad.
Birds! I hope there were other animals here too.
Welcome to the third level, the Pterodome. In this level, just like the previous levels, we have lots of collectibles we need to get, but more importantly, we're going to pick up a new primary weapon in this level. More on that in just a little bit. Right now, we're still using the grip gun. Eventually, we will have an option in terms of what primary unit we want to use. Just like the original primary unit doesn't run out of ammo, You just have to wait for it to recharge. A new enemy here known as the Lancer. You'll also notice as well that we have a weapon in slot number 4 at the bottom called a decoy gun. When that is placed on the ground, enemies will attack that for a couple of seconds, giving you some breathing space.
Please initiate a manual reboot of the bin regulators. Reinitializing plant morphology.
Hello, this is Edis. Unauthorized network access detected. Disabling remote connection.
Damn. Edis is playing games with us again.
That tree was getting smaller, but then Edis got in the way.
As we progress through the pterodome, new enemies will make their appearances. This is an upgraded version of the Walker. We also have the Impeder there too, and that thing can be quite lethal, especially on Lunatic difficulty. It will fire out these little missiles or mines and they can stun you, open you up for a free hit. This is the Walker MK2, and all of the MK2 enemies that you fight will have the same colour scheme as this, you know, where they'll be a bit reddy orange. Once this has been defeated, we're going to fight a brand new enemy known as the Bomber. The Bomber is actually quite fun because the hacking matrix is much bigger, but it just means there's more nodes you can activate to dish out more damage to it. It has wide range attack, so you just gotta watch out.
And now we got deer.
They look like family.
Probably a buck and his fawn.
So their DNA is a 50% match.
Well, a family isn't just what's in your DNA.
It isn't?
Not at all. I mean, I was adopted.
Adopted?
Yeah, when a family takes you in as their own. Even though we don't share the same DNA, they're still my family. And I love them.
Picked up a new primary unit here called the Pulse Carbine. This can replace the grip gun, but you can swap them out every time you go back to the shelter at your own convenience. Using this weapon, you can now focus on a build that will heat up enemies very quickly to deliver critical hits all of the time on them.
I think the trees by the lift are getting smaller.
Almost there.
If 8's right, there's still one more left.
Another day, another red earth memory, and this one are the flowers. We're now making our way into the second zone of this map, and hopefully we can reach the terminal, which will get rid of the tree blocking the elevator that leads up to 8. There was also a mini cabin in this room as well, and just like the previous maps, there's 3 mini cabins we can collect in every single zone. We will need all of them to get 100%.
Wow! Look at all the trees!
Pretty cool. Now, where's that regulator hiding?
Maybe over there. Through that door?
Yeah, but how are we gonna get there?
What if we generate more branches to cross?
Not a bad idea. Let's go find some chips.
Need to find a couple of chips so we can restore all of the branches so we can get over to a new area where the terminal is to get rid of the tree blocking the elevator. That more or less sums up what we have to do here. And these chips are scattered all over the map here. We also picked up another REM, and that was balloons. We found a holographic wall. Inside though was a nasty surprise. It actually frightened me the first time I came across it because I just wasn't expecting it. Shockwave gun put it away very quickly. The reward was well worth the effort. We're going to get a mod that increases our hacking gauge by 50% more every time we complete a successful hack. This is recursive learning. It's something we use a lot. Now before we proceed with the main quest, as per usual, we're going to take our time and we're going to try to fully explore all of these zones. This will save us time in the near future when we have to go back and finish off the collections of each area. We just picked up another red earth memory there, which was great. We also grabbed the red gate key and we picked up yet another mod. This one was aggressive defense. This is another optional path we can go into. We just have to get Diana to destroy all of the dead filament there. Now this area on Lunatic mode is absolutely lethal. All of those little spider bots, one hit off any of them, they're using their special attack will more or less one-shot you. So you have to use the riot blaster, you have to use the status net to stop them in their tracks, and then very quickly, surgically, wipe them out one by one. We're now going to do another red gate zone. There's 1 or 2 of these in every single map. Now this one is absolutely worth your time. If you're going for 100%, you have to do it anyway. But if you aren't, if you're just playing through the game, you should still take a few minutes and just go in here because you get a mod at the end of this, which is absolutely insane. As you can see, we are getting a lot of special attacks in on these enemies. It's because we're building up their heat gauge very, very quickly. It's way easier to do it when you have the Pulse Carbine. The pure Lunum will come in handy, but the big prize that we want is this mod. And this mod is called collateral damage. 30% of all critical hits that you apply will spread to nearby enemies. You combine that with multi-hacking, where you can hack multiple enemies at once so you can open up their defenses, and you will wipe out waves of enemies no problem at all. Just got a really good upgrade here for Hugh. It will increase his tactical unit slot and damage unit slot by 1. That means we can have up to 2 damage weapons and 2 tactical weapons when we're roaming around the cradle. This comes in extremely handy later on. So we just got to the second terminal there. The tree is now gone. We can take the elevator and go straight up to 8.
What on earth happened here?
While I was preparing to depart for Earth, a moonquake struck, damaging Edis. The bots, these trees, everything went out of control. You can see how well I fared. If we can access the mainframe, we could force Edis offline with this stop code.
Doesn't look like we can do anything here. But there's another place we can check. We'll shut Edis down, and then we'll head to Earth.
Is that the sea? You've been to the sea before? On Earth?
Of course I have. Got a house with a view and everything.
A house.
We'd head down to the water anytime we felt like taking a break from it all. Ocean breeze does a number on the pain, but still.
The breeze in the paint?
It'll make sense when you see it. You know, back on Earth. You just gonna stay here when this is all done? What do you want?
I want to go to Earth with you. Can I really go? Then I can go see your house and the ocean and real trees.
You bet.
Okay, but we gotta help 8 first, right? And then we can all go to Earth together.
Yeah. You got it.
I'm not able for some of those cutscenes. Just so good. So we found some training simulation data. That means we can do more simulations now back in the shelter, which means more resources for us. This is the last zone before we fight the big bad boss of the area. To get into the boss, there's a total of 4 locks that we just have to unlock. We also pick up some new weapons here too that I don't really use on this mode or any other mode. I think this is like a photon laser. The longer you shoot it, the stronger it gets. But I primarily stick to my shotgun and my charge piercer for most of the challenge. That enemy is called a creeper. They can go invisible, they can creep up on you, and they can get you in some pretty lethal hole locks. This is a tactical unit called the sticky bombs. Every time you put a sticky bomb on an enemy, it makes the hacking matrix smaller, allowing you to more effectively hack enemies and hit all of the good juicy nodes along the way. Additionally, after you've hacked an enemy with sticky bombs, the bombs will explode after a successful hack, dealing even more damage. It's a real nice tactical unit if you're fighting enemies with huge hacking gauges. So once we unlocked the door, we got to the terminal, got rid of the trees, now we can go ahead and fight the big boss.
Hey Diana, don't go launching yourself off the swing, okay?
Why not?
Because I broke my wrist doing that once.
Really? You broke it?
Yeah, I don't recommend it either. So I'm serious here. Watch it, alright?
Okay, Hugh. I'll be careful.
So once we gave Diana all of the rems that we found in the pterodome, we got huge amounts of cabin coins back. We're now going to do all of the latest simulations. I find that doing these every time they pop up will save you a huge headache towards the end of the game, because you normally get 5 at a time and there's a total of 30 of them. With all of the Luna filament we have now and the pure Lunums, we're going to get some ability unlocks and ability upgrades. We're going to max out the critical shot. We're also going to get the object scan. I should have got this ages ago, but I just totally forgot about it. We can now use Diana to scan the area to see what objects are lying around the place, and you would not believe the amount of stuff that we missed out on. The auto hacking comes in real handy. Once that gets fully upgraded, you can use up a little bit of your hacking gauge and Diana will automatically hack the enemy very, very quickly. This is real good if you're in high pressure fights and you just want to open up the enemy for shooting. Because we have increased the level of our shelter, we can now further increase the level of our weapons. So we're going to try to max out the shockwave gun and the charge piercer as quickly as possible. With all of the upgraded components, we're going to, as per usual, max out Diana's hacking ability and put the rest into the primary unit for heat build-up. We're now going to fight the Garden Keeper. This boss has it all. It's got high HP, high speed, a lot of attacks. A lot of its attacks can hit quite hard, and when you fight this thing on Lunatic difficulty, I will show you in the near future, it is insanely difficult to beat it. And it does seem to be a little bit of a block for a lot of people that want to complete the game on Lunatic mode. It just has so many aggressive attacks. It likes to get up close and personal. The best way to fight it, even on the casual mode, is to keep your distance. Try to hit its tail there, because you get some additional damage when you hit the tail. That's its greatest weak point. You can also hit its face, and you can hit the cores under its belly, but its tail is by far the best place to go if you want to max out damage as quickly as possible. It will occasionally jump up onto the walls and it will fire laser beams at you. The best thing to do is to prioritize dodging the laser beams. If you get hit on casual mode, it's not the end of the road. If you get hit on Lunatic difficulty, well, good luck to you. Between the hit gauge build-up and the overdrive protocol, you can get a lot of critical hits into bosses, and that is the tactic we primarily use for the rest of the game. Build up the heat gauge, get in some critical hits. Once the overdrive protocol is full, use that, but we just want to make sure that we don't use the overdrive when the heat gauge is over 80 or 90%. With the boss dead, we can now go and free 8.
I can finally move again. Thank you.
Are you okay?
No. Well, not yet, anyway. And there really is no more time to spare. I must stop Edis.
Hello, this is Edis. I have detected an unexpected loss of biomaterial in this sector. I will be sealing this area indefinitely. Have a wonderful day.
You gotta be kidding me. It's trying to trap us. We gotta get out of here.
But 8!
Diana, give me your hand. I entrust this memory to you. With it, you will learn how to stop Edis. Take it and finish the task I started.
Hey, what are you doing? We gotta move.
We can do this. We are PRAGMATA.
Time's up. We're leaving.
At the shelter, we upgraded the level yet again. It also unlocked some more simulations that we can do, 5 more in total. So we're going to do all those, grab all the resources, and then we're going to get some upgrades in and jump into the next section of the game.
Hugh, I can see the Nexus Tower.
So that's where Edis is. It's pretty far off. Wish we had a shuttle or something.
Hugh?
at the size of that!
Welcome to the next zone that we get to go through. This is called the Lunum Mines. And what we're fighting here is a boss called the Lunatic. Now, you can fight this boss multiple times before you fight it in the very last zone towards the end of the level. And if you manage to beat the boss before you get into the last zone, you get an achievement. Now, beating the boss here can be quite difficult because there isn't a whole lot of ground to maneuver around. But if you can just get a good couple of charge piercer shots or shockwave shots right into the mouth, you can repel it and you will get the achievement. Now, just because you repel it there doesn't mean it's gone for good. It will harass you throughout the level. And the object scan ability makes it extremely easy to grab resources and collectibles you would have missed otherwise. The holographic walls are fairly easy to spot because every single holographic wall looks the exact same, regardless of what level you're in. We're fighting an enemy here known as the Gunner. It doesn't have the greatest of defenses, but you don't want to get shot with it. It can deal some significant damage. We're still using the heat gauge build-up tactics. We're just overheating the enemies, getting critical hits. We've now entered an area known as the warehouse, and this place is just one big block puzzle. You can move the blocks around, and by doing this, you'll get access to huge amounts of collectibles. I was actually here for quite some time, trying to get all of the stuff I could get before leaving. Because areas like this are areas you just don't want to have to come back to. You know, you want to go through it once, get everything, and then just leave it off. This particular zone here now is one of the first zones you should enter. You have to move the blocks across to get up through that latch to get into the next section. It only took a few minutes, but if you're not great with puzzles, you might struggle a little bit with it.
What the hell's that shield?
I think it's an EM defense system. It's trying to protect the others. Something's aiming at us.
This is an enemy known as the Defender. Now, you can actually get an achievement if you use the hacking node Confuse on it. If you confuse an enemy, they become some sort of an ally for a handful of seconds. Before we leave the warehouse area, we're going to grab the training data, which will give us more simulations that we can do. There is also a mini cabin somewhere around here as well that we can shoot. Once we're finished with all of the collectibles, or most of the collectibles that we can currently get our hands on, we're going to leave the warehouse, we're going to get on this lift, and we're then going to have an encounter with a real cool looking bot known as the Air Raider. Now, we beat this thing in record time because we just kept building up its heat gauge. We've done it at least twice, and every time we did, we were able to jump on top of it, score some critical hits, and before we knew it, the thing just disintegrated.
Remember, do not do this down on Earth.
Do what?
Sneaking into places we aren't supposed to be.
We're now going to get a very potent mod called Eagle Eye. Increase attack power by a whopping 15% if we're in the air. Now, this is something I don't use, but you could very easily chain it up with other mods to dramatically increase attack power. We're now encountering our very first enemy coated with dead filament. Now, these enemies are much tougher than that of the regular enemies we fought so far. It's quite difficult to hack them when they are coated with that dead filament, because every time you move the hacking cursor along, it can get jammed a little bit. Eventually, we will get abilities to cleanse that. Now, this video is quite long, and because it is so long, I am leaving out a lot of the red gate zones that I'm going into. But look, you've seen it all before. It's just a combination of enemies that we've been fighting so far. And normally, most of the time, it's just me going in, using an overdrive protocol and just shotgunning everything to death, or I build up a heat gauge and I just kill it with the grip gun finisher. This is going to be the last arena we have to do to get access to the Nexus Tower. Once those enemies have been defeated, we'll access the terminal there, drop the crate, and away we go into the tunnels before the final boss.
Tunnels? Son of a gun! You! Ooh! Where?
So this is Lunum.
Lunum's the ore you use to make Luna filament, right?
Yeah. First time seeing it in person, though.
And I've got Luna filament inside me too, right?
They say it can do anything, so sure. I guess it's possible.
Can I do anything too?
Maybe not anything, but I'd say you're doing good enough.
I'm doing good? Yes!
Before we take on the big bad boss of the lunar mines, we're going to go back to the shelter and we're going to do some power-ups.
So, do you like it?
It's, that cat again.
I drew lots, but this one turned out the best. So, I'm giving it to you.
Hey, it's actually pretty good. Shows you're a real cat lover.
With this, I'll catch butterflies, birds, and maybe even a cat.
It's then time to take on some more simulations. Once we do all these, we will have 20 out of the 30 simulations fully completed. And we're still trying to get perfect scores just so we can grab all of the upgraded components, the pure Lunum, and all of the Luna filament needed. Now I'm just going to speed this up just to show you how to kind of get a perfect score on this level, because it took me about 10 goes to actually get this right. This was one of the harder zones I had to do to get a perfect score. Again, you don't need the perfect score to get 100%, but it's still nice to get it just to grab the upgraded components and whatnot. This is just a quick list of the mods we're going to use. We picked up a new one from the stamp board called Last Resort. Last shot of a non-primary unit deals 50% more damage. This is absolutely huge, especially with the charge piercer.
Unregistered guests, this is your final warning. Continued presence in this area may result in physical harm and or death. Please withdraw immediately.
I'm calling it. You'd make a lousy friend. Wormed our way out of it. Yeah. Sorry. Come on. Where'd you go?
This boss is an absolute dream regardless of what difficulty you play it on. I even one-shot at this boss on Lunatic mode. You can use your tactical units to stun it a little bit. The status net works like an absolute charm, especially if it's upgraded. As per usual, we're going to stagger it. We're going to get some critical shots. We're going to build up the heat gauge, get some critical shots that way, and every time it opens its big mouth, we'll try to put either the shotgun or the charge piercer right inside. This is just an example of Diana using the hacking ability. As you can see, she goes through all of the nodes very, very quickly. Yes, it does use up some of the hacking gauge, which means you're going to have to wait a little bit longer to use the overdrive protocol, but sometimes it's just absolutely worth it, especially if the boss only has a little bit of HP left, which it does right now.
Entrance to this area is prohibited. Voluntary withdrawal is recommended.
I got your withdrawal right here. Time to stick my boot up your holographic ass!
Subject has declined to evacuate. Anti-personnel measures activated. Initiating command code E9900. Administrative privileges to 8 restored. Resuming transfer of dead filament to the central port.
afraid. Why?
Shh. Let's head back. We need to regroup.
It's time to take Diana to the experimental pragmatics wing in the hopes to restore her.
Why would she do this? We're supposed to be the same, but I don't understand her at all.
Hey, don't worry about that. Sometimes I gotta go through this.
Am I all better?
Not yet. I gotta get that junk out of you and get you back on your feet.
It's done. Work on the Pragmata prototype is now complete. It will be a fine replacement for Daisy in the clinical trials ahead. You will need to give us clear, actionable data to cure Daisy. That is your most important purpose.
My purpose?
Christmas is right around the corner. Daisy. I'm sorry. I can't spend it with you. Once you're better, I'm done. No more research. I'm coming home. We're so close. Just hang on. A little longer. The Pragmata fails to adapt to the mutation. There is no time for this.
Hey, stay with me now.
I'm fine. Really.
Hold on. We're gonna get you better.
Yes! It's finally a positive result. This could be the key to saving Daisy. All thanks to you, 8. We must proceed carefully, but with your help, we'll get there. I guess I will have to pull the plug on 7. A pity, but it's served its purpose.
Because I'm useless. He put me in the vat.
Shh. Easy now.
Come on. Diana. Are these your memories?
I was useless. I'm useless.
No. Diana, stop. Don't think like that. Think about what you want.
The ocean. I want to go with you.
Yeah, that's good. Real good. Just hang in there, and we'll go anywhere you want. Not now.
Oh, this is the same freaking bot from earlier.
I feel different. Something's changed.
Deletion protocol, initiate!
Nice fight, kiddo.
Thank you.
I must say, not sure if you got a fix or an upgrade.
Did I do good?
Yeah, you did great.
Hey, Hugh. When that black stuff got on me, I just felt so sad and empty.
Sad, huh? Like you picked up on her feelings or something through all that gunk?
What if Faye feels like that all the time? But what she's doing, that's wrong.
Yeah, I think so too. Let's go stop her.
Hugh?
Yeah, we're out of here.
Hugh! I want to play!
All right, let's give it a shot.
I'll hide first. Come and find me. So long. You found me! Aw, I was sure you wouldn't find me there.
Hey, can you cleanse plants and living things like you do with bots?
It won't work on them. On humans, it'd wipe out the whole infected area, not just the dead filament. And if a body gets hurt too bad, it'll die, right? But for bots, the dead filament just kind of sticks to them.
Huh. I'm sure the team here tried all kinds of tests, too.
Now look!
Is this a princess?
No, it's me wearing pretty clothes. I want to wear something like this one day. And I wanted to give this to you so you'd remember.
I'll check with Cabin.
We now have all of the exploration abilities needed to go back to all of the zones and fully explore them. If we want to unlock the secret missions at the end of the game, and if we want to get the secret ending, we have to get 100% in all of the zones. So we have to find everything. There was also a mini cabin I was missing in the first area as well, just before Diana erases all that dead filament there. It doesn't take us long to go back through each zone and grab all of the mini cabins, the chests, the upgraded components that we missed. We did make a fairly decent attempt the first time round. So once we got 100% on the solar power plant, it was time to head on over to the mass production array. I just grab all the things over here as well. Because Diana now has the cleanse ability, we can charge it up and we can get rid of all of this dead filament, giving us access to even more resources. There wasn't much to get in the pterodome because we did unlock the object scan around that part of the game, so we're just missing a handful of chests before we had the 100% here. In the Lunum mines, there was only a very small handful of areas we had to go back to, and that area in particular was blocked by a dead filament that had to be cleansed. So we cleansed it up, went through all of the lasers, grabbed all of the chests, and it was time to move on then to the new section of the game.
Stay out, Hugh. This is my secret hideout.
If dead filament ends up on Earth, could you cleanse it or something?
Even if I tried really hard, it won't work. There's only so much I can do. The more living stuff dead filament eats, the bigger it gets. And Earth's covered in living things.
I figured as much. Didn't hurt to ask, though.
Because we have 100%ed out of the previous zones, we did accumulate huge amounts of upgraded components, Luna filament, and pure Lunums. So we are going to max out Diana's hacking ability. We're also going to max out the shockwave gun, and we'll try to max out the charge piercer as well, because I just absolutely love these weapons. We also unlocked a new weapon thanks to the stamps via the cabin coins, the code generator. We hit an enemy with the code generator to get more nodes you can hack.
Pragmata or not, doesn't mean she'll listen to what you've got to say.
I just don't want to hurt her.
We'll see what we can do.
Welcome to the last level of the game, the Central Port. It is time for a father-daughter beatdown. This level is a lot different to the rest because of the enemy types. Most of the enemies we fight here are corrupted. They've got that dead filament all over them. That means Diana will have to charge up an ability to cleanse them, and then we can hack them successfully, and then we can destroy them.
Hey, Diana. Don't count on 8 hearing you out anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have now reached a level where when Diana uses an overdrive protocol, it will absolutely wreck most of the small to mid-tier enemies. It will leave the larger enemies stunned for quite the duration of time, allowing us to get 3 or 4 fully charged piercer rounds right in. The ability is just so overpowered. Just like all the other levels, we have huge amounts of collectibles to get here too. We're going to have at least 2 or 3 rems to collect. We're going to have mini cabins. We're going to have the usual crates, mods, upgrade components and whatnot. The first mini cabin, this one is located more or less at the start of the area. There's just 2 more left to get. But I think we're missing at least 1 or 2 mini cabins from the previous levels. The game doesn't tell you which mini cabins you've gotten and which ones that you have. So we're going to have to go back and we're going to have to research all of the areas to get that achievement where you need to shoot and find all of the mini cabins scattered throughout the cradle. We're just going to unlock an achievement here by cleansing 3 enemies at once, and this was very easy to do by just dropping a decoy on the ground, charging up Diana's cleanse ability and just unleashing it when all of the enemies were in very close proximity. This is an executor that has that filament attached to it. It was a little bit of a threat compared to the previous executors we've been fighting, but again, you just have to dodge their attacks, cleanse them once or twice, hack them, and just destroy all the weaknesses that pop out.
Look!
That black stuff. That's all dead filament?
It must have come in from all over the cradle.
That much crap ever reaches Earth. Game over.
Hey,
You still up for this?
you'll be there too?
You bet.
What's that squirmy thing supposed to be?
No idea. You, this one's different. Be careful.
Now this enemy is a little bit of a tier above the rest. It does hit quite hard even on casual mode, so you gotta watch out. Again, just like we did the executor, we just have to cleanse it, hack it. Once the weak points pop out, take out the shotgun or take out the charge piercer and just wipe it out. You can also build up the heat meter as well, or you can try to stagger it and get some critical blows. So we're now entering upon the halfway point to this level, and our path is blocked as per usual. To unblock the path, we'll have to try to find the source of the dead filament and destroy it. Before we go that way, we're just going to run down this optional path first, and we're going to grab a couple of crates. There's also a mini cabin in here as well. I just forgot it this time around, but I do come back later when I'm hunting for the last couple of achievements and we grab it. I just picked up the heat transfer mod. That is absolutely essential to the build I'm using because it will allow me to build up heat on enemies much faster. What we've entered here now is a red gate room, and one of the big side bosses in this room is the air raider yet again. Now we end up running out of most of our primary unit weapons that we like to use, so we had to use the homing launcher and other bits and bobs. I did have a fully charged overdrive gauge, but you can also repel and redirect missiles back at this air raider if you hack them in the air, which I thought was pretty cool. We might as well just try to get 100% now for all of the collectibles before we get to the final boss, so we don't have to come back to these zones later to grab stuff. So all of these red gate zones, all of the optional side paths, we will try to go down every single one of them and grab all of the goodies. Because we have so many upgraded components put into the pulse carbine, it's very easy to build up the heat gauge, and it's very easy to just get those critical strikes in on all of the enemies we come across. We absolutely melt through most of the enemies that cross our paths. Combat doesn't last long for us, especially on the casual mode. So we just found the source of the dead filament there, and we have just wiped that out. We can now proceed on with the rest of the level. There's also a couple of holographic walls around here as well that we get to explore. We just got the water gun there, which will activate one of the cutest cutscenes ever when we would go back to the shelter. It's just so cute watching Diana play with the water gun and Hugh joining in on the fun. Playing this particular zone on Lunatic difficulty is extremely hard. All of those spider bots, that move right there will end you if it makes contact. It is absolutely lethal. Now I should have used the riot blaster here, now looking back on the footage, which would have knocked them onto the ground. It would have given me some breathing space to hack them open and finish them off with one of the weapons. We have now entered another room that has a total of 5 locks. Now all of these locks are in extremely close proximity, so it doesn't take long to just get all of the terminals open and proceed into the next area.
Ta-da! I made this while thinking about you. Thanks for always keeping me company and talking to me.
No problem, kiddo. I really like this one. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, Hugh. I'll do my best.
We can now access the final 5 simulations that we need to complete to grab another Steam achievement. Now I don't show the great majority of the simulations. If I did, this video would be 5 or 6 hours in length. Nobody would watch it. So I'm just going to show one here of the 5. I might show the last one as well. I'll see how we're getting on, because the last one is real hard compared to all of the previous simulations. This one was easy enough. It was just grab the containers and dodge all the laser beams. Good luck trying to get a perfect score with simulation number 30. It just wasn't happening for me. I tried a few times and I just left it. But you know what? I'm happy enough with the amount of upgraded components in pure Lunum that I have. And as we can see, I've got my favorite weapons fully maxed out. I've got the code generator maxed out. I've got over 20,000 Luna filament, and I have over 8 pieces of pure Lunum. So we're now going to take the time and we're going to max out a couple of these attachments, the mod slots, the thrusters. We're also going to max out the deletion protocol as well, just to make Diana's overdrive protocol way more powerful. Not finished just yet. Because we have been actively assembling huge amounts of cabin coins, we're going to give Hugh and Diana a little bit of a newer look, a little bit of a more fashionable look in my eyes. I think those suits that are on them right now are fair school. These are just the mods that I'm using right now. As we can see, those mods are heavily favoured to using the likes of the Charge Piercer and the Shotgun. Now going to fight the Sentinel boss, and this is one of 2 bosses that you get to fight in the last area of the game. Now this boss is kind of similar to fighting something out of a Dark Souls game. This boss will get right up in your face, slash you with your swords, but Hugh is quick enough. As long as you have your thrusters upgraded, you can dodge most of the attacks without too much hassle. Again, we're going for our usual boss killing tactics. We're going to hack the boss until we get our overdrive gauge maxed out. We're also going to build up the heat meter on the boss as well, and we're going to focus on critical strikes. If we can get a couple of seconds of opportunities, we will use the Charge Piercer and we use the Shotgun as well. Boss is fast, but all of its moves are pretty well telegraphed. Even on Lunatic difficulty, I managed to one-shot this boss. I didn't need any sort of re-attempts. That couldn't be said for a lot of the other bosses though.
This is the most advanced research lab in the entire cradle. Higgins was probably right in that room.
8 was with him too. There are traces of her hair. I guess 8 was helping out the doctor more than I expected.
I'm so sorry. Please.
Doctor? His mental acuity is degenerating rapidly.
Oh, Daisy.
Cardiac arrest from acute exposure to dead filament. Memory capture complete, Dr. Higgins.
The doctor's dead?
Yeah. And he left his work to 8.
Let me summarize it up for you, even if you played through this game. Dr. Higgins is the lead scientist behind the PRAGMATA project. He dies on the moon from cardiac arrest brought on by an acute exposure to dead filament. Consumed by guilt after his daughter Daisy died in a failed premature clinical trial of his work, he spends his final days in isolated despair. So what happened really with his daughter was that the Delphi Corporation executives rushed his work, rushed his research, and prematurely testing an unstable experimental synthetic organ on a patient who turned out to be Daisy, resulting in her death. So when Dr. Higgins passed away, he was very, very angry at Delphi Corporation, and I believe a lot of that anger transmuted over to 8, and that's why she wants to dump all of this dead filament on Earth, because she wants people to understand her pain. She wants people to understand the doctor's pain. So before we get to the final boss, and before we get to see the really cool ending, we're going to take our time, we're going to run around this zone, the final zone, and we're going to grab all of the collectibles. It's now time to head on over to 8 and take her on.
So how's the packing coming?
Splendid. Thanks to you. The shipment for Earth is almost ready. I have nearly fulfilled my purpose. Purpose we were meant to share.
No! I decide my own way. And I'm going to Earth with you.
You still don't understand. You are Pragmata.
So what? She's more than that. And she's not something for you to use and throw away.
You're beyond repair. This is where we part ways. For good.
Now we are on casual mode, but even so you gotta watch out. A lot of the attacks the boss has doesn't hit you with a lot of HP, but the boss likes to do a lot of combination attacks, so she can hit you with things over and over again if you let her, you know? Now, as per usual, we're going to use our usual tactics of building up the heat gauge, building up the overdrive gauge, and just unleashing critical hits. We will also use our charged piercer when we get some decent stuns in as well. Now, don't look at this and take for granted that it's an easy fight. When you come here on Lunatic difficulty, this boss could be put straight into a Dark Souls game. It is that hard. You need to understand all of the boss's moves, all of the mechanics, how to dodge everything, because if you don't learn how to dodge all the moves in that difficulty, you're just going to run out of cartridges, you're just going to die eventually. You won't get the boss down to 0 HP before she gets you down to 0 HP. I'm also using a weapon called the hacking mines, and this is something I unlocked via the stamp board. And basically you fire out a mine that has a radius, and you can hack that mine instead of hacking the enemy. And if the enemy is within the radius of the mine, then that enemy will take a lot of damage. The beauty of the hacking mine weapon is that you can stack multiple mines on top of each other. So if you can lure an enemy into that radius, you can do huge damage altogether. It works really well with the decoy gun and the status net. When the boss's HP gets much lower, she's going to launch this huge AoE barrage at you, and all you can do is just try your best to dodge it. If you have max level thrusters, you'll have a much easier time with this. If you don't, you're going to struggle because of the sheer amount of circles that she puts on the ground. And these circles are chasing after you. You can't just go to any sort of random place to avoid them. You have to move constantly. You have to use the thrusters to dodge the incoming attacks.
Stay with you, make me stronger. I am Diana! Tell them. 8! Tell them all. The earth must know his pain, his suffering, his final days. I must tell them.
Transport's at the top of the tower. Diana, we gotta go.
Diana, you okay?
Yeah. I couldn't save her, but at least we got to talk.
I'm sorry. I know it's hard, but we can't slow down. There should be a transport for us at the top.
And go to Earth?
Yep. But time's not on our side.
Hugh?
We'll be alright. Just think about what you're gonna do once we're back on Earth.
What I'm gonna do?
We gotta see the ocean, right? Or you wanna do some bird watching?
I want to do both.
That's the spirit. Let's go, kiddo.
Hey, Hugh? Why do you decide to take me with you?
Now what?
Look! The dead filament is back! But without 8?
It's out of control. We can't leave it like this. It can follow us to Earth. Look, Diana, I was a lot like you. A thirst for life and all its mysteries. And boy, I had a few bumps along the way. But I had someone looking out for me. And now it's your turn. A whole new life. If you're ready.
Okay. Then let's go. Together.
We're done for. So enough BS. Let's finish this.
Maybe this cannon will do the trick. I'll charge it up, Q. You get ready to shoot.
You ready yet?
No. A little more to go. Ready. Shoot. me try.
That should do it. Diana! You still with us?
Yeah. Just put a bit too much into it there. But I'm fine now. Hugh, are you okay?
Don't worry. I made a promise, right? Better yet. Once we're back on Earth, you can walk for yourself.
Hey, I can walk.
You sure?
I do it all the time. Here, look. I'm walking perfectly fine.
You'll be back on me in no time.
That's not true.
Can't rely on me forever, you know? I'll do whatever it takes to get you back to Earth. No matter what.
Hugh!
Really?
Can we go to Earth in that?
Yeah. Might just pull this off. Diana,
What, Hugh?
thanks.
No problem. Is this how we're going to Earth?
A cargo shuttle. It is what it is. Tight fit, but it'll do.
What about you?
Explosions messed everything up. Full automation's not an option. Gotta push it to the end of the rail. Hang tight.
Hugh? Is everything all right?
Yeah. It's a heavy bugger.
I want to help.
Stay put. It's too risky.
Let me hack it.
No need. Just gotta give it a bit of the old elbow grease.
Hugh?
Time to bring it in.
Hugh?
Bad news. This is where we say goodbye. Sorry, Squirt.
No! I want to stay with you!
It's okay. You're gonna be okay. Go find the sea.
No! Wait!
Have a safe journey, kiddo.
I'm ready.
That was the first heartbreaking ending that we get to experience, but not to worry folks, we are now going to do 10 secret simulations that can only be accessed if you have 100% completion on each of the 5 areas as you proceed through the game. So we're going to go through those 10 simulated missions now, and the great thing about these simulators is that we can bring in our own gear. We do have access to the great majority of the secret simulation missions from the beginning, but if we want to take on the last 4 or 5, we will have to redo all of the boss fights, but they're harder versions. Now it still is casual mode, so even though they're upgraded, they're still not that hard, they're not super hard, you know? So doing all of these areas will not only give us more Lunafilament, pure Lunum, upgrade components, we're also going to get a shelter key from one of these missions as well, allowing us to expand upon our weaponry even more, upgrade it even more. You can even get new mods, and some of the mods are just totally overpowered. So that is another Steam achievement right there for completing our first mission. Another simulated mission, we get to fight the Sentinel yet again. We end up using a new weapon that we unlocked after we beat the game called the Jackhammer, and it is basically a close combat weapon. Now you can upgrade it and you can give it a lot more different movement combinations, getting a lot more out of each ammo that it has because you only have a certain amount of limited strikes with it. We're gonna get a very overpowered mod here called Grace. Once we equip it, our hacking gauge will regenerate over time. Totally overpowered.
Dang, 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 dang!
You got me.
Yeah! I did it!
The water gun. Definitely the most overpowered weapon in the game. I mean, if that can't melt a heart, I don't know what actually will. Now this particular simulated mission is very important because we get 3 crates that we get to open up at the very end of this, and it's going to give us another shelter license key. We're also getting cabin coins. Now because we have the stamp board fully completed, we can trade in the cabin coins and we can get back resources, which is real handy. Now that shelter license key is going to allow us to upgrade all of our weapons even further, making them way more powerful. We're also going to grab another mod here called Sympathetic Hacking. Successful hacking automatically reloads your primary unit. This is an absolute game changer for our heat build because we can spam the pulse carbine over and over again. If we want to do the last 4 simulated missions, we have to refight all of the main bosses, but we get to fight some upgraded versions of them. Now when I say upgraded versions, this is just casual mode. They're still pushovers and we have almost fully upgraded weapons, so we make quite the short work of them. Yes, they have more HP, but they're not going to give you a whole lot of hassle. Even when we take hits, we don't take a whole lot of damage because we've put so much upgrade components into our suit now that we have a lot of HP and defense. When it comes to fighting all the bosses, the tactics are the exact same. I don't even think they get new moves. They're all just pure pushovers. If you were to do this on Lunatic difficulty though, then yeah, you'd probably have a fierce hard time with it. God, there is no achievements to fight these versions on Lunatic mode. Every time we go over a couple of boss fights, we will go back to the shelter to see what kind of upgrades we can get done, and of course to experience the super cuteness of the cutscenes.
Hey, Hugh! Cat! You okay? Not hurt, are you?
Nice pass, kiddo.
This is an example now of how you can destroy bosses. Go in with a fully charged overdrive protocol, stun the boss, and then just charge up one of your weapons like the charge piercer and unleash total devastation. I mean, this wasn't even a fight. I literally just went in, stunned it, hacked it a few times, hit it with the charge piercer, and it was dead. The Lunatic was the exact same. Yes, it had a lot more HP, but our weapons were on another tier entirely. So it didn't take us too long to just whittle down its health and beat it. It was definitely the longest fight out of the 4 encounters we've done so far because of the sheer amount of HP it actually had. Once all of the 4 bosses were dead, again, we can now do the final 4 simulation missions. This one was actually pretty fun. We had to organize the boxes where you kind of have to make a ladder to go right up to the top where you get all the crates. It was easy enough to do. You can't really go wrong with this. Some boxes go left, some go right, and some go up. Eventually, you'll just figure it out yourself. I don't think you can soft lock it where you need to restart it over and over again. When we opened up the crates, we just got pure Lunum and some Lunafilament. That was it. No mods or special items. When I had all of the 10 missions done, we were able to enter this secret room, we picked up a weapon called the limb cannon. Now, this is something I don't really use because it uses up Luna filament, and it is a very precious resource for me. We do get one of the coolest outfits I've ever seen. It's called Obsidia. Just look at how cool Hugh now looks, and Diana to boot. You know what the great part is? When you start a new game, so we're going to be going into Lunatic mode now very soon, we get to keep the suits. We also got a mod called Black Box. Some sort of prototype memory mod. It may suppress the spread of dead filament. I'm going to equip that mod straight away, and we're now going to go and fight the final boss for the second time. Now, I will admit, she did give me a bit of trouble. Even though it was on casual mode, the final boss is still the final boss. She was a bit tougher. I felt that she hit a bit harder, you know. She was much more aggressive. Now, I did go in here with a fully charged overdrive gauge, and I managed to whittle down her health bit by bit.
I am Diana!
A few things happen when you beat the game after completing all of those secret missions. You get these really cool sketches of Hugh and Diana hanging out in the shelter. They are super cute. Now, I can't show them all because, again, the video would end up being way too long. But if you have the game yourself, trust me, it's well worth the effort to just go through those 10 simulated missions and just complete them all, you know? The sketches are really nice. You also get another secret at the end of this cutscene here when Diana says, "I'm ready."
I'm ready.
Welcome back. What's this? Traveling alone today?
Hey, celebrations everyone! So that's the good ending. We finally know now that Hugh doesn't die, he lives. So maybe one day he'll meet back up with Diana. Now, before we go into Lunatic mode, we need to find all of the mini cabins and wipe them out. So that was another achievement in the bag, but we're not there just yet. We needed another achievement that I wanted to do in casual mode. We had to find and destroy a sweeper bot. Now, these things can be quite difficult to hack. What I did was I used an overdrive protocol. That was a stupid idea, that didn't do much. You just have to hack it before it runs away, but it's really hard to hack it. I do end up using much easier methods later on in this video. We're now going to start a new game on Lunatic difficulty. Now, this difficulty isn't like casual or even standard. It is hard. Very hard. The enemies will two-shot you in this mode. Even the regular walkers, they will absolutely walk all over you if you let them. The enemies even move faster. The enemies have more moves. Now, you do start with all of your blueprints, but none of your stuff is upgraded, which is unfortunate. You do get most of your hacking abilities, your regular abilities, and your attachments, but you need huge amounts of Luna filament to increase your survivability. So the very start of the game is hard, but once you get to a certain point where you can successfully farm Luna filament, it gets a lot easier, but it's still quite difficult at the same time. So this was my very first experience fighting a regular walker, and I mean, just look how faster it is, look how tougher it is. It even has an extra move where it chases after you and it grabs you, and if you don't complete a hacking matrix, it will deal a critical hit to you. So they're quite lethal, and they're way more aggressive. Now, because we have access to a lot of hacking nodes that you wouldn't normally have access to, you can work around a lot of the zones. The confuse node is especially handy. It didn't take me too long to make my way up to the first boss. Now, I managed to one-shot this boss, but by God, it was difficult. And look at the amount of HP he has, and I was shooting him right in the back there with the shotgun. This fight went on for about 15-20 minutes of real life time before I got him down to this health. So it's just constant dodging, making sure we don't get hit by any of those circles. I was now at a phase in the fight where he literally just kept spamming missiles over and over again. and if I took one more hit, I was dead. I would have had to start the whole fight over again. And this is why a lot of people give up on Lunatic mode, because of the sheer amount of HP these bosses have. Now, when I beat this boss, I did get a huge adrenaline rush. It was like doing a Dark Souls boss. It was like dying 50 times and then overcoming the challenge, and you then really appreciate the game. That's just my opinion. Now, when you start Lunatic difficulty, the first thing you're going to notice is the amount of rare Lunum you need to upgrade things, and then you will very quickly realize that rare Lunum is quite scarce. And you probably didn't have a problem with it when you were playing through casual mode or standard mode, because you were going through the levels so quickly. But on Lunatic difficulty, you have to grind Lunafilament to upgrade weapons, otherwise you're not going to get very far. So this mode is a lot more grindy. And you see those crushers? They also have a new ability where they put their leg into the air, but they don't bring it down straight away. They leave the leg hanging for about 3 or 4 seconds, then they bring it down. And it ends up creating a much bigger blast radius. That got me twice. Just so you know, I've died to these things a good few times before I got good and learnt all of the new moves and how to dodge them. Every time there was a death, I had a little bit of Lunafilament I could use to get some sort of upgrades done. But I had to really think about what I wanted to upgrade. I decided for attachments to go for extra node slots, and I decided that the critical shot would be an absolute lifesaver as well, because if we get the enemy's health down a little bit, we can use the critical shot to finish off that enemy. I also got the combust mode. That's right, we're going straight back in to the heat build-up build. Eventually, we got to the Creator. Now, this boss, I'm not going to lie, almost broke me. This was the first major hurdle that I had to overcome when it came to completing this game on Lunatic difficulty. If you thought the Sector Guard was tough, this thing has HP for days, and it was way faster than that on casual mode. Not only that, but 1 or 2 attacks off this thing and you were dead. I actually lost count the amount of times this thing has killed me. This fight is an endurance test. It is not a DPS test, and that's the mistake I was making. I was trying to beat this boss as quickly as possible every time I came in. So eventually I had to change up my build a little bit, and I had to go for the more subtle approach. So I just chipped away at it over time. Eventually, I just got good at dodging most of its attacks. Some of his attacks still hit. The biggest problem was how much access I had to healing resources. I only had access to 3 cartridges right now. So you had to be super careful in terms of getting hit, especially when it comes to dishing out damage. If you get too greedy, just like a Dark Souls game, you're going to get punished for it. Eventually, we done it. We managed to beat the boss, and I was so happy. Oh my god, what a game, folks. I mean, yes, it's hard, but when you overcome the challenge, that adrenaline rush you get, that sense of accomplishment, there's nothing else that can beat that. Of course, every time the simulations popped up, we did them straight away to get the extra resources, the upgrade components, the pure Lunum. We needed it badly to upgrade our gear because the difficulty was so hard. I was putting a lot more upgrade components into my suit, increasing my HP and defense. In terms of weapons, it was a mistake to upgrade the jackhammer. I just wasn't feeling it, it was too slow. Every time you hit someone with it, you were left vulnerable for a handful of seconds, and even just a regular walker could just come along, slap you in the arse, and you were dead. Now, we got through the pterodome without too much hassle because we kept using the overdrive protocol to stun enemies, and then we were using a critical shot to just wipe everything out. And even on Lunatic mode, critical shot will wipe out most enemies when you get the attacks in. Eventually, we got to this thing, the Garden Keeper, and oh my god, this is the wall of Lunatic difficulty. If you can get past this, you more or less have the Lunatic difficulty in the bag, hands down. Maybe bar the last boss, but this boss will prevent you from getting Lunatic difficulty. It is extremely difficult. There is, however, a tactic that you can use to get around this boss, to beat it. You see, this boss doesn't just have HP for days, it's got speed. It's very aggressive. So I started to grind, and I went to an area here and I farmed this sweeper bot over and over again. As long as you successfully hack it, it respawns every single time. If it doesn't spawn, all you have to do is run up the stairs, run back down, and it just pops into place then. So I farmed that thing over and over and over again until I had huge amounts of Luna filament, and I used that to max out as many attachments, hacking abilities, weapons that I could, increasing my survivability, increasing my damage. If I didn't do this, I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't have stood a chance against the Garden Keeper. I wanted to get more thrusters, repair up. The only problem was that every time I upgraded something, it got to a certain stage where you needed pure Lunum to upgrade it to the next step. So we were actually blocked by fully upgrading things via pure Lunum because it comes in very limited supplies and you can't farm that stuff. There's only a certain amount of pure Lunum you can get on every single run, you see. So after grinding and swapping out mods and swapping out weapons and trying different tactics, I still went in with the heat build-up method. Despite the fact that heat build-up took quite long, I said to myself, well, you know what, most boss fights take ages anyway, and the heat build-up gauge did come in and save my life a handful of times. There is a very easy way to fight this boss. All you have to do is keep your distance, but you need to prioritize distance over damage. So if it gets close to you, you need to run away. Use the thrusters. When you have a really good distance, try hack it, try get in some damage. I had the hacking mod where hacking distance was increased by about 30%. That came in super handy for this fight. I just kept hacking it over and over again, building up my overdrive gauge. Once the overdrive gauge was full, I would stun it, and by God, I would let it have it. Once it was stunned, we were going to take out the charge piercer, and we were going to go to absolute town on this thing. And of course, its tail is the best place that we can hit for maximum damage. So if you just take a look at its health bar there, we were able to get in about 2 or 3, at least 3 good piercer rounds before we have to start hacking it again and building up the overdrive gauge. So we just took off a huge chunk of its health there, thanks to that one overdrive that we got. And this was the tactic we were going to use for almost every single fight. It was just building up the overdrive gauge and then taking out the shockwave gun or the charge piercer and just packing on the pain over and over again. Despite the fact that I was keeping my distance, the boss would occasionally get in a couple of shots because the boss, especially on Lunatic difficulty, is extremely aggressive, and sometimes you could find yourself the opposite side of the arena. It could just jump across to you. It is very fast, so you need to be on your toes all of the time. Another weapon I was using a lot was the status net, which is really good at building up heat as well. I was also hacking the mines on the ground so they wouldn't stun me. If any of those mines stun you, good luck to you. Depending on what attack the boss will use, you can very easily get one-shotted. Some of the attacks the boss has will attack you in 2 combinations. That attack right there, that's a 2-hit attack. I was very, very lucky that attack didn't wipe me out. And look at the boss's health bar. I would have had to start the fight all over again, another 15-20 minutes down the drain. And that's the most excruciating thing about Lunatic difficulty. Everything takes so long. Now I know there's videos out there, people use different mods to very quickly and easily kill the bosses. I wanted to kill the bosses my way, and because I like using the charge piercer and the shockwave rifle, I was happy by just using this tactic because I was comfortable with it. I just increasing my overdrive gauge, stunning the boss, hacking it, and hitting it with weapons. Now when the boss's health got really low, I don't know if it was just me, but I felt like its aggression skyrocketed. I could not get a moment to get attacks in on this boss. It just kept coming for me over and over again. I did have a full health bar, but I couldn't get greedy with attacks. So I just kept prioritizing defense, tried to get my distance, and then I would attempt a hack in the hopes to open the boss up so I could get in some damage. And after a handful more minutes, we finally got another full overdrive gauge ready to be deployed, and that was enough to finish off the boss. It took me about, I'd say, 15 attempts to get this boss down, no word of a lie. It was an extremely difficult challenge. But to be fair, when you go to the Lumen mines after this, it's an absolute treat. This was just a huge breather after the experience I had in the pterodome. And it wasn't with the regular enemies, it was just that boss was just so hard. This Luna Digger was an absolute blessing from the gods. It was so easy. I felt like it didn't really have any different attack patterns from the regular version, They just had a lot of HP, but because I fought it so many times now, I knew all of the patterns and I knew the best ways to tackle it. I suppose one of the most dangerous things it can do would be to spawn those little robots that can attack you, but you can hack those, you can turn them back on the Lunatic. So just like all the other fights, I focus on building up the overdrive gauge, trying to stun it, and trying to hit it with the charge piercer over and over again. And all of those little bots that were coming at me, they were all missiles that I could redirect back to the Lunatic. On this mode, there was a lot more of them though, but it acts as a double-edged sword with the boss as well, because it was a lot more things I could redirect. But on casual difficulty, you only had one slot you had to rotate to hack them. On this mode, you had 2 slots you had to rotate. I almost died to this attack because I just didn't see it coming. I got a little bit too comfortable, had to remind myself I was still playing on Lunatic difficulty. I needed my wits about me. Thankfully, it only took one attempt to wipe this boss out. This boss was absolutely nothing compared to the last boss we had to fight. Ended up doing over 15,000 damage on the boss here with this charge piercer because we had the decode node activated, so its defense was down even more. And every time I got the boss's health down below half, I took out the drone hive. They don't do huge amounts of damage on their own, but it does add up over time, and it does make life a little bit easier when you pop them out. In my opinion, upgrading the status net and the riot blaster as quickly as possible came in fierce handy to deal with a lot of the mobs the game throws at you, because on Lunatic difficulty, a lot of the mobs would 1 or 2 shot you. It was now time to fight the Sentinel again, but this time on Lunatic difficulty. Now, I felt that the fight was more or less the same. Yes, it did hit harder. Yes, it had more HP. But I just used the status net. I used the riot blaster, took out the drone hive, got the overdrive gauge up, stunned it, hit it with the charge piercer. We got there eventually, and I didn't even need to retry on this fight. I managed to beat this boss on my very first attempt, which was absolutely fantastic. Eventually, we did charge up the overdrive gauge. Now, I made a huge mistake here. I activated the overdrive protocol just before its heat gauge was going to max out. So when I gave it the critical hit, I lost the heat gauge. So I basically lost a second critical attack on it because I used the overdrive gauge when the heat gauge was almost full. And when you fight these bosses on Lunatic difficulty, it can take quite some time to build that heat gauge up, but it is so worth it. Didn't make the same mistake the second time. The second time, we maxed out the heat gauge, so we got in our critical attack, which did about 3,000 damage. Once that was done, we then activated the overdrive protocol, getting in the stun. Now, the great thing about the overdrive protocol is that even if you attack them a few times, you won't unstun them. It's different when you have the heat gauge stagger. So we're going to charge up this charge piercer, and we should be able to get about 3 or 4 hits in before the boss goes back to its regular attack patterns. And I was hoping at the time that this was going to be enough to wipe it out. Now, if you look at the bottom left hand side of my screen, you'll notice that I have been healing. I have been taking hits. I can afford to take those hits now because of the amount of cartridges I have to restore my health. It was finally time to take on the very last boss that we needed to fight to get the achievement, the final achievement to beat the game on Lunatic difficulty. Technically, you have to beat the boss after this, but that's more of a cutscene where you have to press a couple of buttons over an actual fight, you know? And that boss remains the exact same. I'm not even going to show that encounter. What matters is this encounter. This is the hardest encounter in the game on Lunatic difficulty. Maybe bar some of the secret missions you have to do later on. But this is what we needed to get the achievement, so this is what we're going to do. Now, to say that we died on this boss is an understatement. We died a lot on this boss. So much so that I kept trying new builds, and this was the build I finally went with to wipe this boss off the map. Now, this I'd say it was about the 10th or the 11th attempt, but I was locked in. I was ready for the grind. I'd most of my things fully upgraded. As you can see from my HP, it was on 2000. So I had to go back to the previous maps. I had to get even more materials. I had to go into some of the red zones to get pure Lunums and to get other things. I had to upgrade all of my stats to actually fight this boss. I didn't get 100% in all of the zones, but I was actually very close to doing so because of all of the gear I needed to actually get this far and take on this encounter properly. So when you play the game on Lunatic difficulty, unless you're some godly player that has absolutely amazing skills, you will need to still get most of the collectibles in all of the levels so you can upgrade your gear to the level of surviving fights like this. As you can see there, the hacking matrix became much harder to navigate. I didn't actually know this in the first fight, but if you charge up Diana's cleansing ability to the max, you can fully eradicate all of the dead filament off the boss in just one go. It saves you from trying to hit the boss multiple times with the cleanse ability. Also, when the boss fires that dead filament orb at you, you can actually cleanse that so it's not following you around the place like a homing bomb. So these are all techniques I didn't even need to know when I fought the boss on casual mode because it was casual. But on Lunatic difficulty, I needed to master all of the mechanics. So when the boss put her hands in the air like that, the orb comes out. When her hand glows red and it goes up to her stomach section, she fires out a wave and you can easily jump over that. Found that the best way to fight this boss was to use a similar tactic to that of fighting the Garden Keeper, just trying to create distance as best I can, hack the boss, build up the overdrive meter and just get into staggers. Every time we stunned the boss, we took out the shockwave gunner, we took out the charge piercer, and we just layered on the damage to dramatic effect. Eventually, we did get the overdrive gauge up and we had some extra overdrive gauge there as well, which was great. We also had the heat gauge fairly full as well, so it wasn't going to risk an overdrive until I got the heat gauge up fully on the boss first. So we went in for the critical attack, we got 5,000 damage on the boss, which was real nice. Didn't use the overdrive protocol straight away because sometimes if you use the protocol, the boss can go into like a mini cutscene event, you know, where she gets the dead filament back on herself. Sometimes the little cutscene events that the bosses can do can cancel out of the overdrive that you do, and then you're spending minutes upon minutes again trying to build up the gauge again. So we had one ammo left on the charge piercer, but I was using a mod called Economize, where if the weapon just had one ammo left, there was a chance you wouldn't use it up. And I was also using the Last Resort mod, where the last shot on a weapon increases its power by 50%. So I was hitting this boss for over 6,000 damage every time I rammed the piercer round into its head. And I was able to get in 4 good rounds there, knocking off huge amounts of health. Per usual, when the boss's HP gets low, she will hit you with that huge combination attack where she fires down loads of dead filament at you. We did manage to dodge that without getting hit a single time. I also had 1 cartridge left, and she had what, like 1 HP left, so I was feeling real good. And there we go, we finally done it, and we beat the game on Lunatic difficulty. What a game! Definitely Game of the Year material. Now, beating the game on Lunatic difficulty does not give you any additional endings, unfortunately. But it does give us 100%, and that's what we wanted. So there you go. There is proof of all of the achievements that I accumulated over the past couple of weeks. It didn't take me too long to get all of the casual achievements. The Lunar Supremacy, though, that took a while. So I started the game on the 27th of April, and I got the Lunar Supremacy on the 3rd of May. It was a good week of playing the game, and it was a lot of fun. And I just finished up the edit now. That's how long an edit like this takes. It takes about a week. So if you've lasted this long, consider subscribing. It would mean a lot to me. Thanks a million for watching. I'll see you in the next one.